in 1990. March 21st, 1990 to be exact. And to show you my age, I wasn't even born yet. That's how long it has been for Wichita State. Jada Coleman kicking things off at the plate. And she goes with a check swing to start, and it goes as a ball. Coleman this year, a .449 batting average, 44 hits in total, has scored 46 times. Team high for Oklahoma. And Lauren Howe, first two pitches both being off the plate. Coleman last year, a first-team All-American. Also was a part of the College World Series All-Tournament team. Was a Player of the Year, top 10 finalist. Was the 2023 Big 12 Player of the Year. Certainly a tough one to start off with if you are Lauren Howe inside the circle. Thing is, though, there is not a soft spot in this Oklahoma lineup. The 3-0. Now one goes as called strike. 3 balls and 1 strike. Coleman's been a regular ever since arriving in Oklahoma. She was the consensus #1 prospect in the class of 2020. And she's showing you the eye at the plate, starting things off with a walk. That was a problem on Sunday in Wichita State series finale against Tulsa. The Shockers had numerous free bases that they allowed. 8 walks surrendered in that one. Tiara Jennings takes her spot at the plate, and the shortstop takes it for a strike. Jennings this year, .432 of batting average. Has a whopping 15 home runs. And she took a big hack at that one, made contact, and now down the count 0-2. Jennings in her first season back in 2021 had a .462 batting average, 401 in 2022, .415 last year, and now at .432 coming into this one. 0-2 smashes one high up in the air. Certainly made some noise. Hoekstra is calling everyone off, and she comes up with the catch for the first down in the inning. Well, when you heard this first out, Alyssa Brito, starting third baseman, set to face Lauren Howe for the first time. Bounces away from Sophie Johnson, and that allows Jada Coleman to sprint over to second base. So Oklahoma with a runner in scoring position early in this one. Oklahoma coming off its first series loss since 2011, following the Texas 2-1 in the last 2 games. Won the first one 5-2. But now they're looking to recover after suffering losses 2 and 3. In a rarity, you see an Oklahoma offense that failed to produce a ton of runs in a series. It's a dominating force. Brito skies this one, but it winds up going out of play and into the stands, and a nice look at just how packed this facility truly is. Plenty of excitement already on this campus with Wichita State, with a couple of renovations set to take place. But when #1 Oklahoma comes to town, you better believe it will be packed. 2-1, a little bit downstairs. The Sooner lineup produced its second lowest run output since the Big 12 moved to 3-game series this past weekend. Scored just 7 runs across the set. This one line to left. Brito has it sent to the wall. She's rounding for second. She slides in safely. And the Sooners strike first on the road. Nothing fancy there from the number 3 hitter. Thing advantage. Ella Parker, cleanup hitter, DP, stares with the first one, a little bit outside. Oklahoma in the series against Texas batted just .247. Oklahoma also struck out more than a walked in a series for the first time this season. And just to show you just the type of power there at the plate for Oklahoma. Oklahoma's 5 extra base hits stood as a season low in a series this season. And just 2 home runs in this series against Texas. Lauren Howe nibbling around that plate, knowing the danger that is right there in Ella Parker. Parker with just 7 home runs, but batting .404 coming into this one. And she'll take the walk. So Ella Parker walks for the 20th time this year. And Christy Bredbender being forced to come out of the dugout early to talk to her hurler and Lauren Howe. Well, Lauren Howe has figured out some stuff, though, coming into this one. Hasn't been a phenomenal season, to say the least, here this year for just the pitching staff as a whole. Lauren Howe, the last couple of outings, against Tulsa, she went an inning and 2/3. Gave up 4 hits, 3 runs, all of them being earned. But she made an appearance against Tulsa in the first game. Went an inning, allowed 1 hit, but no runs. Against Charlotte, in the second appearance of the series, she went 2/3 of an inning. Gave up just 2 hits and 1 run. That's what has allowed the ERA to dip. Started off pretty high, and it's found a way to lower it to 7, but Oklahoma already right to work at the plate. Kinsey Hansen, starting catcher for the day. This season for Oklahoma, .385 batting average. Just 17 RBI in this Oklahoma lineup. Doesn't mean she's not capable. Just goes to show you the lineup that Oklahoma has. Hansen, a graduate student for Oklahoma. She was awarded the Johnny Bench Award, given to the best college softball catcher. Won that last season after batting .409. Maybe not quite as good of numbers this season, but still quite impressive. Howe gets the first one to come across. 3-1 count to Kinsey Hansen. Howe's ready. Right up the middle. Rounding is Hansen. She slows down at second. And Hansen brings in the second Sooner run, scoring Brito from second base. Sooners producing 2 runs on 2 hits already in the first. And more damage can be done with Cassidy Pickering, the right fielder for today. Stares at the first one, winds up going as a strike. Pickering at .393 batting average. Mentioned how there were 4 individuals in this lineup below .400, but 2 of them just 15 points shy of it. Hanson being 1, and there's Pickering who's at .393, both pretty darn close to that. One. Just below the knees. And Lauren Howe in danger of loading up the bags for Oklahoma. An Oklahoma team averaging 9 runs per game this season. And as impressive as they are in terms of hitting the ball, just great patience, too. You have 2 players with 20 walks or more. And you have another 4 that have 18 and 19. Just good plate discipline as well. This one in play, the Hoekstra looks over at home, but decides to throw the first. That does score another run for Oklahoma. A 3-0 start for the Sooners in the first inning. Pickering does just enough to bring home that 3rd run. First one, Sanders drops in there for a strike. Sidney Sanders, a junior, gets a .300 batting average. If you stop there, you would think, all right, whatever. Part of this Oklahoma lineup, sure. But she has 11 home runs. She's got some power. Also a 33 runs batted in, which in this lineup is 4th best for Oklahoma. Howe trying to get out of the inning. Nelson has it. The throw to first in time, and that closes the top half of the first. Oklahoma, though, doing damage early. 3-0 Sooners. State's turn to go to the plate. Patterson Legal Group starting lineup. Sophie Johnson playing that slot there at catcher. Sierra Hoekstra and Kristen Nelson to round out the lineup for Wichita State. Christy Bredbetter in season number 13. Oklahoma's starting pitcher for today is Kirsten Deal. Brought to you by Reese Nichols. Classy numbers that you see there for Deal. Just a sophomore for Oklahoma. And maybe the first time we've seen a lefty here from an opponent. Backing up Deal. Jennings, sensational at short. Hanson told you about her accolades, being the best collegiate softball catcher a season ago. CeCe Wong finds a way to find a sweet spot in right field, and CeCe Wong starting things off with a leadoff single. Well, you had a feeling that CeCe Wong was going to come out and swing. Third pitch as she sees, bounces it to right. She was 0 for 4 against Tulsa in the series finale on Sunday. And snapped a 6-game hitting streak for CeCe Wong. And now we see Addie Barnard take her spot at the dish. First one a little bit low for ball 1. Barnard on Sunday in that loss to Tulsa, 14-5. She added to her career home run record, up to 83 now in her Shocker campaign. Last year had 14 homers. She is now at 14 home runs for this year in and still a little bit of time left here for the season. Deals 1-1 outside. And a 2-1 count to Addie Barner. The 2-1 from Deal gets skied up in the air. Coming in from right field is Pickering. She comes up with a catch. First out here in the bottom half of inning number 1. That barrel on the ball, you just always have to hold your breath. You just never know. That thing can leave in a hurry for Addie Barner, but that time just a little bit too far underneath it. Brings up Taylor Solacek, starting right fielder. Having a sensational sophomore season. She logged 3 hits in the series against Tulsa. Ended up scoring 3 times as well and had a home run in game number 2 against Tulsa. Ended up being a grand slam in that one for the sophomore. The 0-2. Solacek got underneath it. That fouls it out of play to stay alive. Looking to see another pitch from Kirsten Deal. Deal last year for Oklahoma made 20 appearances, started 3 games, only allowed 3 runs in 27 1/3 innings pitched, had an ERA of .77. 0-2, fouled off once again. She was named the #1 player in the class of 2022 by Extra Innings Softball. She really lived up to that standard in her freshman campaign a season ago. Nice pitch from Deal. Trying to graze the outside corner. Solacek was able to hold back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Solacek just a smidge under 300, batting .299. Swings to the 1-2, and Deal blows it by her. Strikeout recorded for Deal, and there are 2 down.
Now that's the left fielder, number 7, Bailey Urban.
Deal up to 33 strikeouts now, has just 11 walks on the year. An opponent's batting average last year was 158. This year it's at 177. Deal a little bit downstairs. Bailey Urban, starting left fielder for Wichita State. Wrapped up the series against Tulsa with a 3-hit performance. 5th time she's been able to do that in her career. Deals 1-1. Urban hits it out of play. Urban in the first game against Tulsa came up big against the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. Ending up driving in an important run. Wichita State led that game 3-2 going into the 7th. And then Tulsa was able to rally to get the victory. Deal gets the outside corner, and Deal wraps up the first with back-to-back Ks at Trib Athletics at Wichita State. Kevin Saul. Kevin, glad to have you. How things going?
Pleasure to be with you. Thanks so much. We're doing well. We're doing well. See if we can answer back here in the second.
Well, coming up here for Oklahoma, Avery Hodge laying down a bunt, and it's laid down perfectly. Showing up the wheels to second baseman. Starting off the second with an infield single. Well, we just saw the pan to all the people here in the stands, Kevin. How does that make you feel to see a sellout crowd on hand to witness Oklahoma, Wichita State?
You know, I just am so appreciative of Shocker Nation and obviously what Coach Bredbender and her staff and the young people in our program have done to build just something really special here. We've got a couple of sellouts on the books for this year. And we've had, in the last 2 or 3 years, we've probably had 12 different sellouts. And so it's obviously something that's really, really great. And it's a beautiful facility and was really, really great in the 90s. And obviously we've got some bold plans for how we can get even more folks in Wilkins Stadium.
Bold plans for sure. Runner takes off. Not a bad throw from Sophie Johnson behind the dish, but Avery Hodge just able to burn out there on the track. And Christy Bredbender feeling like maybe that she took off a little early, so they are going to go take a look at this one. Well, you had a chance to address the crowd as you brought up big plans. You have renovations that are set to take place at Wilkins Stadium, and you shared some really good news. Here's a rendering of what it's going to look like, and seems like you're on pace to break ground and get this thing rolling, but the renderings here just look phenomenal. So
yeah,
I guess
absolutely.
Let's just talk about what you see here.
On that particular image that we just panned away from, you'll see there's 2 really big boxes on that third base side. And the one that's furthest down the line is a full indoor infield. And so it'll be about a 120 by 120 foot, fully turfed infield that also has pitching and hitting bays in there. And that's connected to the building that was in the foreground, close to the home plate entrance, that is the team operations building. It will be the Wadsworth family team operations building, based on a very, very generous gift by John and Gail Wadsworth. And so those 2 together comprise Phase 1, and it's a $9.65 million Phase 1 for Wilkins Stadium. And we came today to thank Ricky and Jeannie Brotherton, who have been long-standing tremendous supporters of Shocker softball. And let the crowd know that we are getting close. We are $6 million raised towards that $9.65 million goal. So we got a little ways to go, and $3 million is not a small gap to fill. But we plan to start construction on that indoor practice facility in August. We'll break ground.
That's incredible. And then when that happens, I guess the timetable just kind of depends on the conditions and everything. But once you do break ground, though, when it comes to phase number 1, how long would that take to get that complete?
So we look to break ground on the indoor practice facility, Pat, in August, and our partners are telling us it's going to be about an 8 to 10 month build. So obviously that puts you into April of 25 when that thing's finished. Our goal is by the end of this calendar year to raise the rest of that $3 million so that we can just go right into the team operations building and start that in April of 25, get that finished up by the spring of 26, and then we'll be ripping and running and ready to go.
Riley Boone at the plate for Oklahoma. It was indeed ruled that Avery Hodge was able to steal the bag, successfully didn't leave early, and now Riley Boone gets on after a walk given up, the third walk already given up by Wichita State as the lineup card flips over. With you guys making this commitment to Wichita State softball, I guess when you got here, you come in and you analyze so many different things. At what point did you say, hey, we need to look at softball and make an actual commitment to make this as one of the premier facilities in the country?
Well, to their credit, the program has built itself into where it is. And again, that's attributable to Christy and her staff and just tremendous young people that have been a part of this program for many, many years and have built it into something special. To his credit, our president.
We have a double steal taking place. The throw a little bit offline. Oklahoma now has 2 runners in scoring position with Jada Coleman at the plate.
To his credit, our president, Rick Muma, has made softball a priority since he started his presidency. And I will tell you that I walked in July of 22 in the midst of a investment that has now resulted in $2.2 to $2.5 million for new lights, batting cages, new third base dugout, which will be the future third base dugout that will connect into the team operations building and the indoor infield. And then we did turf this past summer. So it's been an ongoing investment the last 18 months, 2 years, of about $2.5 million. And then we've got this 9.65 project that we're working towards.
Howes 2-1, fouled off to even the count at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Isn't there just a buzz in the air when it comes to women's college athletics? I just sense it everywhere I go, especially here on the campus of Wichita State.
Yeah, I love it, and every stop that we've been in, it's been a priority, and it will continue to be a priority for us. You know, we've got 260 student athletes, about 56% of them are females. It's really important to invest in women, and it's one of the reasons why we're doing this. It's one of the reasons why we're bringing bowling over from a club sport to a varsity sport beginning this coming July. So, you know, it's really important to me. Sports was a big part of our family. I grew up with 2 older sisters. One was a collegiate student athlete, the other in high school, and I just think all the benefits are there, whether you're male or female, and it's great to see these young women develop in our programs.
That went a little bit low for Lauren Howe to make it a full count situation for Jada Coleman. She did kick off the game with a walk. One of the talented players for Oklahoma, who's sitting at a .449 batting average coming into this one. Howe trying to get that first out recorded. A little bit away from the plate, and the bases are loaded for Oklahoma for Tiara Jennings, who flew out to shortstop back in inning number 1. Well, I feel like you're just scratching the surface, though. Isn't that the kind of the feeling of it, which, you know, phase 1 usually means there's going to be multiple phases. I feel like just on campus alone, it feels like you're just scratching the surface when it comes to facilities here.
No doubt. I mean, it doesn't take much just to look across beyond the right field foul pole here and see a beautiful YMCA that's a extension of an unbelievable innovation campus with 16 new buildings on campus. We have an applied learning program that about 7,000 students are involved in, and last year earned about $30 million total in the aggregate. So there's a really unique version of higher ed that's going on at Wichita State, where our young people are coming in, they get an opportunity to work and learn, applied learning, go to school in their degree, they leave with less debt, and they have an employment pipeline with a lot of these businesses and these industry partners that are a part of our innovation campus. So it's a really exciting time to be at Wichita State.
2-0 the count to Jennings at the dish. Bases loaded here for Oklahoma. The one thing when I look at Christy Brebender, she's never afraid to schedule these types of opponents. I imagine that's got to be a good feeling from your perspective, being athletic director, wanting to go out and face the best of the best.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things that we've learned over time is you can certainly play an easier schedule and you can rack up a ton of wins, but at the end of the day, that doesn't create at-large entries into the NCAA tournament. And that's what we're here to do, is develop young people in programs and win championships and represent Wichita State in postseason play. So it's important to play the best.
Well, this one gets by Sophie Johnson at the plate, but it ends up going as a walk, so it was going to score a run anyways. So there are now 4 runs for Oklahoma, and Christy Brebender going to come out of the dugout to potentially make a switch inside the circle, which we saw a little bit of action take place during the last inning. We'll see what the official decision is here for Christy Brebender, and then we'll probably send it the break here for a pitching change if that's the case, and then we'll keep Kevin Saul here, and I'm sure he loves talking at name, image, and likeness, so we'll go with NIL when we come back after this pitching change. It's 4-0 Oklahoma. It's the Tulsa Golden Hurricane in that series opener. Went 5 innings and gave up 6 hits and 3 runs. And then Allison Cooper there for the second appearance against Tulsa. At that time, just came in and just had to finish the job. Just a junior from Granbury, Texas, looking to recover here for Wichita State, as Oklahoma is currently on top 4-0 with nobody down. Melissa Brito, she had an RBI double back in the first inning for Oklahoma. One of 3 hits for the Sooners in this one. We still have Director of Athletics at Wichita State, Kevin Saul with us, which I always look forward to talking to Kevin once a month. I think we have a chat actually coming up here in a couple of days now that I think about it, so this is a nice little precursor. Name, image, and likeness. What have you learned about NIL and this buzzword that continues to morph, I feel like, every time I talk to you?
Yeah, it's certainly an evolving space, but name, image, likeness is basically our student-athletes' ability to generate revenue off their name, their image, and their likeness. It's not something that student-athletes were able to do back in the day, and in its truest form, it certainly is, I think, a blessing for our young people to be able to do those things. It really has evolved here in the last couple of years, for sure.
2-1, a loud pop at the plate, winds up going as a catch for Solacek, but deep enough for Brito to allow that fifth Oklahoma run to come across the inning number 2 for Oklahoma. So the sacrifice goes well for Brito, who now has 2 runs batted in for today. Sending Ella Parker now to the plate, the designated player, and a runner will take off. And Jennings to go from first to second. Doesn't it seem like, though, that every time I talk to you, there's always something new that you seem to learn? And I guess maybe that's just college athletics just in general, but I feel like for name, image, and likeness, there seems to be more and more things that continue to arise with the situation.
It's definitely a space that's transitioned a lot in the last couple of years. So name, image, likeness became permissible in July of 21. I was actually serving as the AD at a different institution at that point in time. But we spent the first 9 months educating, setting up in the infrastructure for our student athletes to be successful. And when we started at Wichita State in July of 22, there was much of that had not yet been done.
Bailey Urban coming up with the catch for Wichita State. Ella Parker goes down as the second out in the second. Kinsey Hansen set to take her turn here at the plate for Oklahoma. I know you've been out and about talking to various Wichita State fans. You've been bringing out Paul Mills, and I think that it's no secret. While, yes, there are other factors when it comes to success in college athletics, it's probably no secret right now. The name, image, and likeness, you got to have a solid pool if you want to try to bring in more and more people.
There's no question, and I think the value of name, image, likeness is really in the retention piece and less so on the recruiting side. If that's the first conversation on the recruiting side, we're going to tend to move on to somebody else because it becomes a really transactional piece. But if our young people are developing really, really well in our program, and we've created an experience that they want to be a part of, the value of NIL is really in retention. And so that piece is important. It's important for all 15, soon to be 16 of our sports. We've got a goal out there. We've got 110,000 living alumni at Wichita State University, and our goal is to get 5,000 to give 500 a year, which is about $42 a month. That will generate $2.5 million every year that will benefit not just men's basketball, all of our programs. And so certainly there's a minimum cost of doing business in the recruiting world nowadays, and NIL has something to do with that. So it's not something that we can just ignore and want championships for our programs.
A little looper down the right field line. Hansen able to drop it in there to score 1, and there's the second. Hansen driving in her second and third runs for this evening as Oklahoma has stretched it out to of the game as we continue to roll along here from Wichita. Cassidy Pickering. She actually drove a run back in the first. And she winds up taking the first pitch for a called strike. Well, Kevin, when you take a look at other programs, when you take a look at Oklahoma, for instance, like what does this do, I guess, for you as you are able to bring in this type of talent? And I guess we can save that question for another time as Grounder going to be enjoying the opportunity to see this team in Oklahoma. Sooners leading 7-0 over Wichita State. Oklahoma has won 41 in a row. Kevin, I shared the stat last time Wichita State got the win was in March of 1990. I wasn't even born yet. It's been that long. It just goes to show you the type of run that Oklahoma has been on. Sammy Hood, Caroline Talents, and Sophie Johnson all due up here for Wichita State. And Sammy Hood had to miss a little bit of time for Christy Breadbender's bunch. Able to get her back has to be a big thing. But I think this year, we all understood coming into it. No Cindy McKinney might make things a little different, but the cool part is coming in the summer at UX, going to be out this way. Cindy McKinney's going to be on display, which that has to make you happy to see a alum come on back.
We're really excited about that softball event this summer, and I would have to give credit to Brad Pittman and our facilities and operations group that really aggressively went out and got that bid, and so many other folks have been involved with it as well.
Sammy Hood with a tough luck out there as Hodge was just in the right spot to get the catch. That thing had some heat.
They're going to play like 19 games this summer, and there'll be some streamed. There's some nationally televised, and the Shocker logo will be all over it. So that's a real advantage for us, and something that we're excited to host in addition to the American Athletic Conference tournament here. And as we talked about earlier, some of those facility enhancements were done specifically to give us an opportunity to host the American Athletic Conference Championship, the lights, the batting cage, this dugout here, the turf. And so we positioned our program, we think, to host the first-class championship for the American Athletic Conference in May.
Talent with a check swing ends up getting a piece of it, so she'll step off the plate. I've always wondered this. Every time Wichita State hits a home run, there's a piece of haichu that Coach Bredbender throws their way. Have you had haichu? Has she thrown any your way? I guess you haven't hit any bombs.
Not yet. I haven't hit any bombs and probably won't, so I'll have to trust them on that deal.
Talent swings and can't connect with that one. Kirsten Deal picks up her third K for this evening. Yeah, all the different events taking place. You know, you have some stuff going on at Cessna Stadium as well, which I know for me, a guy who has witnessed high school track and field over the years, always a staple in the state of Kansas. A lot of people flock out this way. Feel like that was maybe one of your key goals coming into this, was trying to get more and more events to come out this way to Wichita.
Yeah, we've got a really aggressive plan at Cessna, and obviously, we want a first-class home for state high school track that brings in about $7 million in economic impact for the city of Wichita and Sedgwick County. So that piece is really, really important. But we aspire to start a women's soccer program either in the fall of 26 or the fall of 27, and that'll be the home for it. So we've got construction that will start right after state high school track this spring and go through state high school track at 25. But we're really excited about that piece, Pat.
Sophie Johnson catching today for Wichita State. Ends up taking that one for a called strike. Goes to 2 balls and 1 strike to Sophie Johnson as Wichita State looks to get that first run to come across here. Here's one thing I do know, though, is the Shockers, all it takes is a swing of a bat to change things. That's been the thing with Oklahoma and Wichita State. You're just so used to all these home runs with these two programs.
Yeah, and Pat, I got to take this opportunity on a live broadcast here with obviously a lot of viewers. I think the world of what Coach Bredbender and her staff are building here at Wichita State, and they've done things absolutely the right way. And if you got recruits and young people that are looking for a program where they're going to get great value, take a look.
Here in the series, Oklahoma has won 41 in a row against Wichita State. Last win for the Shockers coming in 1990. So many great teams for Oklahoma over those years, led by a very impressive coach that everyone knows and certainly respects, and Patty Gasso. In season number 30, so if you do the math, she's been part of this series for a long, long time. Christy Bredbender has 1,652 if you include her time at Long Beach City. 7 national championships. She's had one of 3 programs. She's part of one of 3 programs to have won multiple championships. She's just been simply impressive. Well, here in the third, Sydney Sanders starting things off for Oklahoma. She actually grounded out to third base to close inning number 1 for OU. Oklahoma with 3 runs in the first and 4 runs in the second to get us to this point. Allison Cooper had to take over for Lauren Howe and gave up a couple of runs. But here she is trying to dig deep and try to hold Oklahoma scoreless for the remainder of the game. But we all know that is a very tough thing to deal with, especially for Oklahoma coming off a series loss to Texas. First series loss since 2011. 3 balls, 1 strike to Sydney Sanders. With her grounding out, she has dipped a little bit below 300, but still, she's got plenty of pop for this Oklahoma lineup. Yeah, she starts off the third by drawing a walk. Oklahoma, the lineup here in 2024, leads the nation in batting average, on-base percentage, in OPS, while ranking third in runs per game and home runs. That was the rankings going into the weekend against Texas. Wichita State, pretty good when it comes to hitting the long ball with 53 home runs, but Oklahoma sitting with 80 here for the season. Looks like Coach Gasso is going to her dugout. Checking in for Oklahoma is Alina Torres, transfer from Arizona State. Maybe the most impressive thing about Oklahoma is when you take a look at the roster, you get a few transfers, but you also have players that arrived as freshmen and have simply just developed there in Norman, Oklahoma. Big cut from Avery Hodge in the 1-0. Can't catch up to it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hodge singled and came around to score in inning number 2. 1-1, a little bit too inside by Allison Cooper. Big swing from Hodge. Once again, can't catch up with it. It's 2-2. Hodge, in just her second season with the Sooners, was primarily a pinch runner last year. Here she is, logging her 15th start on the season, 37th game appearance in total. Hodge turned away on a pitch that almost grazed her. Didn't touch her. So Sanders ends up, well, not Sanders, it's Torres sprinting over the second. Hodge gives this one a ride to right. Solachik reels it in. Torres tags and sprints over the third. And there's the first out in inning number 3. Riley Boone not coming to the plate. She is replaced by Quincy Lilio. Redshirt sophomore from Oceanside, California. I'm sure we'll see more and more people be worked in here for Oklahoma. Last year, she batted .275. She made 12 starts at second base, designated player, and outfield. She rips this one foul. She redshirted back in 2022. Arrived on campus as the number 5 player of the class, according to Extra Inning Softball. Puts this one in play. Nelson checks over at third to halt Torres from making that trek home. And then she makes the throw for the second out. Another pinch hitter. It's Hannah Core, also from California. First one a little bit outside. So she takes the spot of Jada Coleman, who reached base safely twice, courtesy of 2 walks. Cooper takes him off that throw and drops it in there for a called strike. She had that pitch working this past weekend against Tulsa. Broke it out at perfect times to come up with some strikeouts or at least initiate a ground ball or so. Well, one fouled off. And Gore will have to be a little bit defensive at the plate here. This is Core's. Well, if you look at her previous 2 years, she had a total of 3 at-bats. And here she is getting a little bit of playing time. Get more reps here for Oklahoma. Core this year slashing 188, 222, and 344. Played in 4 games on opening weekend last season for sustaining a back injury. And here she is going down to close the third. A scoreless third frame for Oklahoma. Sooners, though, still lead by 7. The bottom half of inning number 1 with a single by Cece Wong. Ever since then, the next 6 batters retired, 4 via the punch-out for Kirsten Deal, who's been able to bring her total to 36. She deals with hitters 8, 9, and 1 for Wichita State, starting with Sierra Hoekstra. Good location. Gets the call there to make it 1 ball, 1 strike. Hoekstra was inserted into the starting lineup this past weekend in the weekend series versus the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. She did quite well defensively, and then she also at the plate was able to do a little bit of damage as well, as Christy Brebenter continues to find the right combination. A team that has gone 2-4 in its last 6. Two fouled off. Kirsten Deal, for her career, 10-0 with a .99 ERA. She has won 7 of her last 8. She's been much better against right-handed hitters in 2024, limiting them to just a 108 batting average. 28 of her 32 Ks coming into this one were against right-handed hitters. A strikeout rate of 32.6%. Here she is facing a lefty in Sierra Hoekstra, so we'll see how she can deal with that as Hoekstra tries to become the second shocker to reach the bag safely. And Hoekstra just simply hanging in there. Hoekstra pops it up on the 3-2. And coming in and making the grab is Brito. That is 7 in a row retired for Deal.
Now the plate for the Shockers, the third baseman, number 21.
Well, Deal closed her freshman campaign in dominating fashion. She ended last season on a 15-inning scoreless streak. And during that streak, she only gave up 5 hits, struck out 11, and walked 3. And last year, when she came out of the bullpen, she had an ERA of just .40. Nelson fouls it off, and she'll have to be defensive now. 0-2 against her. Nelson was close to going around, and the appeal down at third base, the indication is she did go all the way around. So Nelson strikes out. And kind of a rarity for Kristen Nelson. That was just her 9th K for the season. And now we'll see if Cece Wong can reach the bags again. Cece Wong entered Sunday with a batting average of .505. After going 0 for 4, it dipped to .486. But in her first season with Wichita State, she is fit in quite well. Transferred in from Grand Canyon. One of the top batting averages in the country. Cece Wong takes a cut, can't get to it. Wong puts it in play, but it winds up actually going foul. Deal looking for another clean inning. Ends up going a little bit downstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Last year against lefties, Kirsten Deal limited them to just a .088, 114 and 176 slash line. Just 3 for 34 off Deal last year. The thing is, she's just getting warmed up. Coming from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Two. Wong goes down swinging. And Kirsten Deal works her way through the lineup once again. Hitters 2, 3, and 4 due up for Oklahoma. Tiara Jennings walked back in the second. She did pop up the short, and Cooper with a fancy glove, getting Jennings to ground out right back her way. Nicely done by Allison Cooper. Just a hot shot right back her way. Played it perfect. Alyssa Brito. She's had a busy day at the plate as Cooper decides to pull the string and freezes Brito for a called strike. Brito has already brought in 2 runs, had a double back in the first, scored another run back in the second frame. And Cooper painting the outside corner there. We'll see if Brito can find a way to dig out this 0-2 count against her. She's one of 3 Oklahoma Sooners players to have double-digit strikeouts. Don't get that excited. It's just 10. Ranked at number 11 on Softball America's Top 100 Players of 2024. Check swing, no appeal. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Brito was a unanimous first-team preseason All-American, preseason All-Big 12, and for good reason, after what she was able to do a season ago. 2-2, waiting on it. Cooper blocked it, and she picks it up and deals over the first. She's responsible for generating the first 2 outs here. Not a clean glove that time. The designated player. Coming back to the plate for the 3rd time. She walked and scored in the first. Flew out the left field back at inning number 2. Ella Parker, a true freshman from Los Angeles, California. According to Extra Innings, number 3 ranked recruit in the class of 2023, number 15 recruit. According to Softball America. In her junior season at Notre Dame High School in California, she had a batting average of .651 and 11 home runs with 31 RBI. She also served as a pitcher. This one goes in foul territory. 3 shockers chasing, but none of them can get to it. And it winds up making it a 1-2 count. Cooper misfires that time to level it out. As many returners that came back for Oklahoma, you probably get lost in the success of some of these freshmen. Ella Parker, Cassidy Pickering, and Maya Bland, all of them at that key moments this year. A shot to right field. Ella Parker able to sneak it on through. And it's a 2-out single for Oklahoma. Kinsey Hansen has replaced at the plate Riley Ludlam. Hansen, I guess when you go 2 for 2 with the amount of runs that you have driven in, I guess why not? Why not just go ahead and get a quick early exit and enjoy yourself out there on the bench. Big swing and miss. The throw bounces off the glove of a shocker, and that allows Ella Parker to not only take one bag, but she also gets a second one as well. Oklahoma didn't get a run last inning. Sooners will have to change that here in inning number 4. Ludlam was named to the All-South Region 3rd team last year. She was the 2023 Southern Conference Player of the Year, transferring from a very solid program in Furman. She was a career .309 hitter there at Furman. Had 45 doubles. Started 49 games for the Paladins last year. Great addition for Oklahoma. Just more experience to add to a roster that already is filled with it. But of course, when you come in, you don't think right off the bat, especially with all the talent coming back, especially the freshmen coming in, it's a grind. You got to battle to get every at-bat you can get. Ludlam goes down looking at another clean inning for Wichita State as the Shockers go to the bottom half of inning number 4, looking for some offense. Oklahoma at 35-3, Wichita State 18-14. Both these teams looking to bounce back after suffering series losses over the weekend. A little bit different for both those teams coming into this one. Wichita State has had a little bit of an up and down season, but still 9-6 in the American Athletic Conference. Meanwhile, for Oklahoma, the Sooners are 13-2 in the Big 12 Conference. Addie Barnard, Taylor Solachik, and Bailey Urban. The 3 coming to the plate for the Shockers. Kirsten Deal trying to spin a couple there over the outside corner. Barnard flew out to right field back in the first inning. Takes a crack at that one, winds up being fouled off. It's 1-2. When you look at the overall career home run list, so Addie Barnard, after hitting homers 82 and 83 over the weekend, she's now tied for 13th for all time. If she gets number 84, she'll tie Shelby Penley, who played at Arizona and at Oklahoma. You have Tiare Jennings, who's in the top 10. And then Oklahoma has the top 2, Lauren Chamberlain, the number 2 with 95 career home runs, and then Jocelyn Alo at 122 career homers. When you do look at that list, right now you have Addie Barnard tied with Danielle Gomez with Louisiana. You primarily see Power 5 members on this list. Barnard gets jammed, coming in for the catch for Oklahoma is Torres. And there's the first down the bottom half of the 4th.
Now batting number 29, Taylor
Jennings still at short. You have Hodge at second, Parker at first. Ludlam is behind the dish. Core is in straightaway center. Bland is in right field for Oklahoma as Solachek pounds one to short. Jennings showing the range and the arm as well. She guns down Solachek for the second one. That one was a little tough. Things just showing you why she is regarded as one of the best shortstops out there in the country. Wichita State almost had a casualty. Bailey Urban went down the first base line. You better have your head on a swivel. Just behind. Bailey Urban, she went down looking back in the first frame. Wichita State just 1 for 12 as a unit with 6 strikeouts. Deal has just been in control. Wichita State's offense trying to get something going here late as the game continues to roll on. A team that's used to scoring and hitting, averaging 8 hits per game, 6 runs a contest as well. Batting average just below 300 at 294 as a unit. Urban gives us one a ride, and it winds up being caught by Core. She read it all the way. Allison Cooper hanging in there for Wichita State. Bland came in to play right field for Oklahoma. Another freshman from Argyle, Texas. This year batting .333. Number 11 player in the class of 2023. In the spring of 2022, when she was a junior, she had a .528 batting average. Blasted 16 home runs. And she pounds one in the dirt. Has the wheels to try to squeeze that one over there. However, she winds up being gunned down by Nelson at third for Wichita State. She was actually going a different way, and she ended up having to change her direction in order to pick that one up. Torres ready to rock and roll at the plate. Joining Oklahoma's roster as a transfer from Arizona State. Played in 60 games last year. Made 43 starts primarily in the outfield. Hit .350 with 2 homers, 9 doubles, and 23 RBI. Back in 2022, she was an All Pac-12 first-teamer. And here she is with Oklahoma, a program that's set to go to a new conference in the SEC before too long. And of course, with the Pac-12, that has taken quite a bit of a hit with some of the colleges leaving. Two from Cooper. Opposite field it goes, and it bounces in for a hit. Torres able to log hit number 6.
Avery Hodge.
Avery Hodge getting another try at the dish. She's 1 for 2 today. She singled and scored back in the second frame. She flew out to right field, their latest appearance. Hodge from Richmond, Texas. She was a part of the 2023 USA Senior Women's National Team. Lost the bat on this one, and she walks over and says, "My bad." Thank goodness for some protection. And now it looks like Coach Gasso just wants to check on some things. Hopefully he had a smile there just to make sure that mentally everything's ready to rock and roll. I don't see that happen too often. But I think she's not going to let that bother her at this point. Check swing on the 0-2. It's 1-2. Back-to-back 2-1 losses to Texas for Oklahoma. First time OU has fell in back-to-back fashion since Washington and Wisconsin back in 2020. But when you take a look at Texas, it's not like the Longhorns are this little engine that could. Texas has had a terrific season this year. Cooper able to get that one to fall in there. Allison Cooper lets out a little bit of a roar after getting that strikeout. Allison Cooper replacing Lauren Howe. She has given up 3 of the 6 hits, but does have 3 strikeouts with 1 walk. Quincy Lilio grounds this one to first, ended up being scooped and thrown over the first. Nicely done by Wichita State. And that closes the top half of the fifth. The final series there against Oklahoma State is going to be huge on multiple levels. With Oklahoma going to the SEC, you better believe there'll be a lot of pride on the line for that one. Who is going to have bragging rights for the foreseeable future. I do feel like once you get to softball and baseball and some of those sports, it seems like when it comes to non-conference games, you're able to work in more stuff a little bit easier. Sammy Hood, Caroline Talent, and Sophie Johnson, the 3 coming up for the Shocks in the 5th. Deal surrendered that first hit with the very first batter she faced. But since then, she has been in complete control, one of the few wild pitchers that we've kind of seen from her. Sammy Hood last time up lined out to second. And she goes down swinging. Another punch out for Deal. She has just been in a groove. Hasn't really been challenged all that much. That's her 7th K in this one. So out of 14 batters that she has faced, she has struck out 7 of them. Safe to say that she has just been in the zone for Oklahoma. And maybe having that type of series versus Texas, maybe it changes some things for Oklahoma moving forward. Not like there's any doubt in the minds of these players, because this is a program that has won 7 national championships. But to suffer that type of series defeat to open up a new month maybe allows you to refocus a little bit. Doesn't always feel like there's a good time to have a loss, but for Coach Patty Gasso, maybe this is it. Caroline Talent Ends up getting grazed on the pitch there from Deal. And the second base runner on board for Wichita State. It took a... Now the other loss for Oklahoma came against Louisiana. Fell in that one in extras, 9-7, being the final on that one. One ball, one strike to Sophie Johnson. One of those young players for Wichita State. Noted the freshman for Oklahoma. Wichita State also trying to mix in a couple of young players. Sophie Johnson being a freshman from Odessa, Florida. She played against Tulsa in the series opener this past weekend. She went over 2 with a run scored. And then she didn't play in games 2 or 3. She was ranked number 48 in the Extra Inning Softball 2023 Extra Elite 100. Christy Bradbender felt like she was able to get a steal. But so far this year, just going through the ups and downs that most freshmen truly see. Two. Nicely done by Deal. Ring up another for Kirsten Deal. Freezes up Sophie Johnson. Another 2 strikeout inning. In fact, in the 5 innings of work, although technically 4 2/3 at this point, there's only been 1 inning where Kirsten Deal didn't generate 2 strikeouts, and that came last frame. Sarah Hoekstra almost hung it up there long enough for Oklahoma to come up with a final out in the 5th, but it winds up bouncing foul. Hoekstra, a Kansas native, played at Shawnee Mission North. She went 2 for 4 in the series against Tulsa, scored 3 times, and also had her first career extra base hit. It was a double in game number 2 against the Golden Hurricane. Deal lost a little bit of control there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hoekstra did pop up to third base back in the 3rd frame. Hoekstra goes down swinging, and the 3 outs recorded in the 5th, all via the K for Kirsten Deal. 7-0 Sooners through 5. That was a heck of an effort by Hannah Core. And based on the initial review, it looked like that maybe she was a step shy, but we will get another look here. See how long this umpire crew takes here. Leah Domi behind home plate, Brian Miller over at first, and Jason Kemper over at third base. Now the initial ruling is safe at first base for Core. Different angle. Of course, you see the ball in the glove up high there for Sammy Hood. Core just going to stand there patiently. Lots of Oklahoma Sooners getting plenty of action in this one as the Sooners gear up for another Big 12 series coming up against BYU. 3 of the final 4 Big 12 series taking place in Norman, Oklahoma. And Leah Dami, after one quick conversation with her coworker, and they do rule her as out. So Core, valiant effort.
Now back for the Sooners, the shortstop number 23, Tiara Jennings.
Tiara Jennings trying to get that first hit here for the day. Instead, she grinds out to Nelson. And there are 2 quick ones recorded in the 6th frame.
Now back to third base for number 43, Alyssa Brito.
Tiara Jennings came into this game with a 9-game hit streak, tied for the club's longest here for this year. So with that taking place, one can assume that that is probably going to come to a close, unless Oklahoma's offense explodes, but you can never rule that out with the Sooners. During that hitting streak, she went .469, scored 10 times, had 5 home runs. For me, the best part over that stretch is she didn't strike out once. Good shot down right field for Alyssa Brito. And she winds up sliding in at second base. Second hit recorded for Brito. Your 2 hits, both of them doubles. And she drove in another one with a sack back in the 2nd frame. Ella Parker is 1 for 2. Walked in the 1st, flew out to left field in the 2nd. And she singled back in inning number 4. Reached all the way at third base. Grounds us one in foul territory. 1 ball, 1 strike. Parker, 5th among her teammates in hitting, as a freshman phenom for Oklahoma. Base percentage at .509. Just fitting in quite nicely for Oklahoma. Cooper a little bit too far inside. Parker, the 3-1, blasted right by the Cooper, and Cooper was able to come up with a grab for WSU. She's been great in relief. Now the offense needing to get going for Wichita State. Oklahoma on track in conference action right now at 9-6 in the AAC. After losing 3 series, Florida Atlantic came here and opened up conference action in its first season. It really took everyone by surprise, but they have had a terrific season, getting over 30 wins this year. a road series loss to Charlotte and this past weekend against Tulsa. Deal misfiring on the first 3 pitches to Kristen Nelson. She struck out swinging back in the 3rd. Deal has allowed 2 base runners on. She surrendered that single to open things up and then gave up the second base runner by hitting Caroline Talent in the previous inning. Wichita State, when the Shockers have been able to get 2 on, they haven't been able to advance them to scoring position tonight. Deal battling back nicely. And now in position to log that 10th strikeout. Ball at least was put in play by Nelson. But you saw Deal step away from the circle. He ends up coming up with a great defensive play. We've seen some pretty good defensive plays from inside that circle tonight. Teal did have 10 strikeouts against Lamar back in February. It looks like she is not going to get the opportunity to move forward here. Oklahoma leading by 7 with 1 down in the bottom of the 6th. We will take a step aside and come back to tell you about the new pitcher for Oklahoma. Sooners in control.
These 2 men share some
control because of Kirsten Deal. Only giving up 1 hit in 5 1/3 innings and 9 Ks. Faced 18 batters. And now we see a new pitcher for Oklahoma in Carly Keeney. Doing quite well for OU. Transferred in after a tremendous career at Liberty. She was a 3-time All-ASUN second-team selection. A career ERA of 2.32 across 665 innings of work. CeCe Wong kicked off the game with a single back in the first. Struck out swinging, though, to close out inning number 3. One of the 9 punch-out victims for Deal. Keeney in the month of February for Oklahoma did quite well. She logged 17 1/3 scoreless innings. She was the only NCAA pitcher with 15 innings or more to do so in that month. Two-one. Missing the plate. She entered the week 3rd in the Big 12 with a 1.108 ERA. And wow, she was considered an ace at Liberty all those years. Viewed as a closer with OU. CeCe Wong drawing the first walk of the game for Wichita State. Good bounce back for CeCe Wong, who's been on the backs twice now. Addie Barnard 0 for 2. Oklahoma has done a nice job of bottling her up. But we all know what she can do if she can get a hold of one. Her last game, she had 2 home runs. A couple of pop-ups here today. Flew out to right field back in the first. Back in inning number 4. Flew out to third. And she was going after the first 2 pitchers. She is coming out aggressive. Probably frustrated with her team sitting with a goose egg in the 6th frame. Keeney trying to get her the chase. One, two, Barner drives it to center field, and it grazes the wall, stays in the park. CeCe Wong stops over at third, and Addie Barner almost made it number 84 in her career. But she'll take the double to put 2 in scoring position for the Shockers. Keeney too far on the inside corner there is Taylor Solachik. Trying to keep things rolling for Wichita State. A little bit of a late rally for the Shockers. But Solachik can go over the wall and make things a little bit more interesting against this Oklahoma team. As Sooners team that has dominated the majority of their opponents this year. Solachik dribbled that foul off her own body. She steps away for a moment. Shake that one off. I can't imagine that felt good for Taylor Solachik. She struck out swinging back in the first frame. And then in inning number 4, she grounded out to shortstop. Keeney able to get that one to drop in at the right spot. Solachik goes down looking. It's a heck of a pitch there by Carly Keeney. And after getting 2 runners in scoring position, nice to see the response from Carly Keeney. Sitting with that low ERA, trying to keep it that way. Trying to make this a shutout win for Oklahoma. Keeney searching for that same spot, winds up dipping a little bit too low. 1 ball, 1 strike to Bailey Urban. Struck out looking with her first plate appearance. Flew out to center field back in the 4th. Urban lines out to Jennings at short, and that ends the threat in the 6th. Wichita State with its best chance. A 7-0 lead in the first 2 frames. And she blasts one to the left in the first pitch that she sees in the 7th frame. Job well done by Riley Ludlam. Nice piece of hitting for Oklahoma. Number 8
For the Sooners, number 12.
now for Oklahoma. Sooners have had a hit in each of the last 3 innings. Unable to plate that run, though. Big cut from Maya Bland. Bland 0 for 1 tonight. One ball, one strike. Cooper a little bit too inside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Well, this is the bounce back that Oklahoma was looking for. You scored just 7 runs against Texas, and then you get 7 in the first 2 frames. Can only imagine what that conversation was like leading into this one. I'm sure Coach Gasso had a very simple message, or maybe simply just say, hey, it's all right, it's all good. Just let the team respond. This one popped up to Sammy Hood over at second base. And there's the first out in the 7th.
Now batting for the Sooners, number 40, Alina Torres.
Alina Torres. She logged a hit last time she was at the plate. Ended up being a single. Ended up staying there for Oklahoma. Swing and a miss for Torres to make it an 0-2 count. Really can't get over the job that was done here by Allison Cooper to come in. Lauren House started this game, only lasted an inning. And she is responsible for all 7 runs given up. And Cooper making it strikeout number 4 as she catches the outside corner. But job well done for Allison Cooper. Avery Hodge almost sneaking that one by, trying to keep it fair for what would have been probably 2, if not 3, for Hodge. Hodge 1 for 3. When she got that hit, she also came around the score in the second frame. Flew out to right field in the 3rd and then struck out last time up. This one up in foul territory. Wichita State can't get to it. Winds up going too far out. This one could be trouble. Almost a diving catch to close up the top of the 7th. However, it drops in, and Avery Hodge logs that second hit for the night. Good charge from
43, Quincy Lilio.
an opportunity, though, for Lilio to add to that RBI total. If Wichita State coming into this, if you would have said, hey, Shockers would have 4 innings of shutout ball, you would think, man, Shockers would have a chance, especially with their offense. But Oklahoma's pitching and defense has just been superb. Lilio sitting with 5 RBI this year. Can bring that thing up to 7 and stretch this thing to a 9-0 lead for Oklahoma. Cooper. It's a 2-1 count. Took a little too long before tossing that one. That's why that one got bumped up. The ball count got bumped up to 2. Lilio going after that one, unable to get to it. And a 2-2 count. Cooper trying to go 6 innings without surrendering a run. 2-2, check swing, close. No appeal over at third base. And now there was a decision to appeal just to see. Cooper's 3-2, and she goes down swinging. Cooper in relief. 6 innings of shutout ball. However, the Shocker offense here for Oklahoma. Sammy Hood, Caroline Talent, and Sophie Johnson, the 3 due up in the bottom half of the 7th for Wichita State. Big hat from Sammy Hood. Keeney, maybe just getting warmed up when she came in the last frame. She did give up a walk at a double. For this, she calmed things down. Got Slogic the look on a K. And Bailey Urban lined out to close the 6th. And that was really the best inning for Wichita State to score, because the previous 5, they had 2 total base runners. One via single and one was hit by a pitch. Hood hanging in there. She missed basically a month of action for Wichita State. Came on back. Is trying to get back on track for WSU. A team that has dealt with a handful of injuries. Hood, though, goes down swinging for the 2nd time here this evening. And there's one down the bottom of the 7th.
Now to play for the Shocks, the number 3, Caroline Alice.
Caroline Talent struck out swinging with her first plate appearance. And she was the one that got grazed to go over to first base back in the 5th. One. Good spot. The home plate umpire, Leah Dami, not going to call that one as a strike. Talent waited back on this one and dribbles one right up right away for the 3rd Shocker hit for this evening. Just got it by the glove of. And now Christy Brebender going to switch things up. Set to bring in Jessica Garcia. Against UTSA, she had the better series in her career. And picking up 3 hits in that series. Scored 3 times as well. And then she played against Charlotte on the road and went 0 for 5. And this is the first time we have seen her appear since then. Keeney wasting no time, bringing it right to her for a called strike. Garcia, another Kansas native, played at Mill Valley High School. One ball, one strike. Last year for Wichita State, he only appeared in 5 games, started 1 of them. Takes a crack at that one, but fouls it off. When she was a sophomore in 2022, she actually hit .326 for the Shocks. Started 32 games, made 40 appearances. So with this appearance, she's up to 90 appearances and sitting with 47 starts. One, two, and she finds a way to drop it in there. Garcia with hit number 7 in 2024. And now Garcia will go back to the dugout because we have a pinch runner for WSU. Avery Barnard taking the spot of Garcia. Sarah Hoekstra trying to keep things rolling for WSU. Jenny with a loud pop there of the glove behind the dish. Getting that one called as a strike. Keeney looking for the same spot, but it goes to 1 ball, 1 strike. Hoekstra 0 for 2. Popped up to third base with her first plate appearance. Struck out swinging in inning number 5. Hoekstra puts it in play. Nicely done up by Jennings to get the out over at third. And there are 2 down in the 7th. Tiare Jennings be tempted to try to go over the second and try to get a double play, but at this stage, leading by 7, why not? Take the easy out over there. Krista Nelson struck out with her first plate appearance back in the 3rd. She grounded out to the pitcher. Fans at that one. In Oklahoma, a strike away from finishing the job. Oklahoma felt like that was it. Instead, another pitch set to be thrown for Keeney. Nelson staying alive by getting a piece of that one. 1-2. Keeney gets the job done, and Oklahoma responds after losing 2 of 3 to Texas.